out onto the road, we use the signal required by law. So I might pull off next to that white fence and talk about that blind spot there and a defensive driving strategy. I made another video on it. Now, if we need extra steering practice, we'll turn right and stay in this neighborhood, but I'm going to go ahead and turn left here. Again, early smooth braking, early signal, stopping where there would be a pedestrian or bicyclist, and there is none, so I'm going to get it ready to launch. Again, this is a left turn. I don't really need to, but it's nice. It's a nice luxury. Okay, it's fixed my visibility issues. It's clear right, straight. All the driveways are clear. Path of travel down the roadway is clear. And I'm going to go ahead and launch it. Very little steering. Most of my steering is done. And letting it slide through my hands, letting the wheel go. And again, that can be tough at first, and don't stress out over it. You will get better at it. Okay, so we're going to Maple Grove. I'm going to turn right here on Maple Grove. And as you can see, I'm in far left lane position, and I'm stopping where I can see the line. Now, don't come to a hard stop just to stop where you can see the line. Smooth it out. See, right now I'm about 10 feet from the line, which means that if I miscalculated it and I came in a little fast, just smooth it out. Just take your foot off the brake a little bit. Sometimes I might say off the brake, and if I say off the brake, take your foot fully off the brake, and then I'll say reapply it, or I'll say gentle braking. And always keep in mind, I have my own brake. So it's not like if you take your foot off the brake, you're just going to roll in the intersection. I have my own brake. So you're never going to hit anything because of lack of braking in the car. I have a brake. So, pedestrian bicycle check looks good. Now, as you can see, the car is not rolling much, so this is where I might give it a little gas. And that's what stinks when you are getting it ready to launch, when you're going up a little bit of a hill here. Okay? Now, I'm in launch position. That does not necessarily mean I will launch it. There is a bad visibility issue over here to the left, as you can see. I don't know if you can see out that window right there. Okay. Alright, green light, everything's cool, double checking, everybody stopped. Okay, look at the pedestrian right there. Small little skinny lady wearing all black, hard to see. Those are the pedestrians that get hit. Okay, I'm watching this guy here, doing the turn, and I'm not going very fast, even though it's a 35-mile-per-hour road here. Don't let that 25-mile-per-hour sign throw you off. It's right here in this area, it's 35. But we are immediately turning into this Black Eagle Center. Notice my lane position, early braking, push-pull steering, and accelerating a little bit out of the turn, practically at the same time letting the wheel go. We're turning right into this Blue Heron Center. Notice my lane position, early braking, early signal, push-pull steering. Now, on a right turn, you can look at that curb, that right curb. If you look at the left curb, then you're going to go out white. So it's perfectly okay to look at that right curb, only for a couple seconds. If you stare at it, you might end up hitting the curb and not letting go of the wheel and kind of oversteering to the right. So you're only just taking a little glance at it, and then you're looking down the road. Okay. So again, it's okay to look at the curb, but only for 1 or 2 seconds, just to get an idea of it. Okay, now usually I stop back there and I have a little lesson about visibility. And sometimes we turn left here, but we're going to turn right for now. And when we turn left here, we just go down on this little curvy road, go into a little parking lot, come back out. It is a public road, but it's just a little side road. It's not a big deal. It's just a little bit of extra practice. And so, pedestrian bicycle check here. Looks good. And there is a horrible blind spot on the left. That's why sometimes I don't even like to turn left here. Let me show you. Okay. I'm getting it ready to launch. Now, look at that blind spot there. Look at that car coming around. Now, the black car over there is nice. If a car comes around with their full headlights on, we might catch the reflection of headlights in that car. Whoa, he's into the curb. Okay, he's gonna do something there on the lawn there. Okay, I think he's gonna jump start that guy's car, so he actually went up onto the curb. That's funny. It's just something you don't see every day. Okay, so as you can see, there's a bad blind spot here. It's a lower speed road, 25-30, but yet the blind spot is so bad, you really got to get it ready to launch here. Now, if you're the one coming on a road like this, like that black car with a little teeny baby daytime lights on, if you're the one coming along that road, well, I'm going to talk about that, okay? Because when you're on a road, the last thing you want to do is have somebody pull out in front of you. So we'll talk a lot about what you can do to help the visibility and prevent people from pulling out right in front of you. Okay, and as you can see, a lot of people that were coming around that corner there, you know, no lights on, their lane position wasn't very good, and so now we're going to go out pretty far here. This is where if you did this with your mom or dad, you might end up freaking them out a little. But we're going to go out extra far because we've got to see down this road better, and when we go out far, we're going to help other people see us. So when we're inching our nose out, even though you might feel uncomfortable, your parents might feel uncomfortable, kind of inching out kind of far, keep in mind we're helping people see us. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you again here. This guy backing up. And this is nice because you get to see how many people are coming around this bend, how fast they're going, the bottleneck. Now, usually there's not cars parked right there. But the cool thing is, you see that black car right there? That car is actually nice because it's forcing cars to go a little wide. Like that blue truck, it's forcing him. So what that means, and this is nice to know for the city, is it means that we can actually safely go out pretty far. Okay? Because it's almost like that black car is almost like a cone in the road, and it's forcing people to go wide around. So I can actually go pretty wide around. So as you can see, that blind spot is not great. I fixed it a little bit, but we are definitely ready to launch. And we are out there. I'm out there probably now 2 feet past the curb. And again, but this is a wide road, and I want people to see us. So we're out here pretty far. We're ready to launch. So when we clear it, boom, we hit the gas and get going. And there is a car coming pretty fast right in back of me. Right in back of me. You guys can't see it on camera, but he came pretty fast around that corner, about 30 miles per hour. But I launched out pretty good, pretty quickly. Okay. So again, he was actually going a little fast for that little road. It's a public road. But, you know, cops aren't going to patrol this little public road here. Okay, pedestrian bicycle check, looks good. I'm going to inch on out, getting it ready to launch, focusing on looking at the curb, thinking about where my tires are turning, where my car... Now, my car is facing straight towards that building, but my tires are turned more towards the right. Okay, I'm checking, it looks good, and I'll help you check it. I'll help you clear it. And if you go a little wide and hit some of these white dashes, it's not a big deal to go a little wide. I'd rather you go a little wide on a turn than oversteer to the right and end up going into a curb. It's actually easier as an instructor for me to pull the car to the right than push the car to the left. So if you do a right turn and you steer too hard to the right and we end up going into that curb over there on the right, it's a little bit more difficult for me to help correct that. I can still do it, it's just not as easy as if you drifted a little left. Okay, so we're going into this construction on Old Maple Grove. 25. So whatever the speed limit is, just go 25 to 30 or up to 5 over. Again, there's many reasons for that. Look at that little blue car ahead of us. I mean, he's absolutely staring at the back of that pickup truck. Just, what's he doing? Putting pressure on him? Like that little car is going to put pressure on that truck to drive faster? I don't understand any joy of driving and staring at the car in front of you. In fact, that little blue car is doing everything that the truck is doing. If that truck swerves hard left, that little blue car will swerve hard left. And he doesn't even know what he's swerving for. He won't even know what he's swerving for. Now, as you can see, I'm in far left lane position. And how do I know? Because the yellow line here on my left is disappearing under my left headlight. And I'll talk about that before we do this drive, how to find these lane positions better. Now again, that's not a major focus, the lane position. Lane position adjustment is advanced. The big thing is speed control. You're just really mainly focusing on the basics, which is speed control, getting used to the speed, getting used to the acceleration, the gas pedal, and the brake. And of course, I might say you're going too fast, slow it down a little. Now, usually what I mean by slow it down a little is you'll just take your foot off the gas for 1 or 2 seconds. Look at these dark cars, no lights on, no daytime lights, making themselves hard to see. And yet everybody complains that people pull out in front of them. Well, you got to make yourself visible. Look at these guys on the right. They're all wearing neon. They're not wearing all these neon jackets, these high visibility jackets, because they look cool and they're stylish. You know, they're wearing them so that they don't get hit. Okay, I mean, that's the big thing in driving, is you don't want to get hit. You want to help people see you. Use your signals, put on your full headlights all the time. So we're going down Maple Grove here. All right. Still in the 25 zone and going to a red light, so there's no rush. And stopping where we can see the line. Now, a lot of people could say, well, when the light turns green, you want to be able to see down the road, so you actually should creep out. In fact, one older student, a 30-year-old, said that her dad said to creep out into the actual crosswalk, which is illegal. You can't just keep rolling out into over the stop line into the crosswalk. But she said it was to see down the road. Well, you can still see down the road when you're further back. When the light turns green, you just start checking left, right, left, right, left. You can just keep doing it. You don't have to do just left, right, left, and that's it. You can keep doing left, right, left, right, left. I mean, whatever's in front of you shouldn't be an issue. If there's a car in front of you, it should not be an issue. You should have following distance. So a lot of people say, well, I can't keep looking left, right, left, right. I got to watch the guy in front of me. Well, why? Because he's right in front of me. Well, why is the guy right in front of you? You know, back off a little. That's what following distance is for. So you don't have to stare at the guy in front of you, and then you can be an advanced driver and start scanning left, right, left. So you're starting further back, and even though you might say immediately, well, I can't see down the roadway because I'm further back, you will see down the roadway as you start to pull out, as you start to roll out when the light turns green. So that is not a good argument for going all the way to the line. Now, for the sake of your driving test, it's going to be a good idea to stop where the stop line just disappears under the hood of the car. So I'd like you to come to a smooth stop. Again, smooth stop where you can see the line. But for your driving test, you don't want to do that, because they'll dark you down a point. So like right here, I'm going to stop where the line just disappears under the hood of the car. Nice and smooth braking. This is where I normally would stop, but I'm going to roll forward another 5 or 6 feet, and it's just barely disappeared under the hood of the car. So I am legal. Now, as you can see, it makes me much closer to this intersection. Left, right, left. And it's not illegal to stop where you can see the line. It's just odd. And your driving tester person, your skills tester person, will think that you don't know where you are in the lane. They want to get an idea of where you are, that you know where you are in the lane. I'm going to go kind of slow here. and then back over in right lane position. So stopping where you can see the line is an advanced technique, but you need to do it only if you have a good habit of smooth braking. You can't come to a hard stop where you can see the line. You can't stop 10 feet further back than most people and come to a hard stop. You're going to get rear-ended because it's rare. You have to have a foundation of early smooth braking. So when you have a foundation of early smooth braking, then it allows you to do another advanced technique, which is stopping where you can see the line. And we'll talk about the benefits of stopping where you can see the line and how it can save your life. I'm not going to tell you. Check left, right, left, right, left, right, left as I pull out there. Now, once I'm in the intersection, I'm just going to get going. Okay, so once you are actually in the intersection, in somebody else's path of travel, you know, somebody running a red light, we are going to just go ahead and give her some gas. So again, when it comes to stopping where you can see the line, don't come to a hard stop just to see the line. Smooth it out, smooth it out. In fact, I don't even care if you go over the line a little bit to ensure a smooth stop. I don't even care about that. And if you can think, how can stopping where you can see the line totally save your life? I want you to think about that. How can stopping where you can see the line totally save your life? We're going down a little hill here to Lake Hazel. Early smooth braking, got gravity pulling the car down, 3,000-pound car, and nice smooth stop where we can see the line. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. I don't know if you noticed it, but did you see all those cars doing a left turn there? There was like 3, 4, 5 cars in a row that did a left turn there. That can easily give you the impression that they have a green arrow, that they're doing a left turn on a green arrow, which means that you could pull on out. You're thinking, hey, if they got a green arrow, then everybody else has a red light and I can pull on out. No, I don't know if you noticed it, but they were all doing yielding left turns. It's a very common mistake that people make, is they see a whole bunch of cars doing a left turn and they assume that they are doing a protected left turn on a green arrow. And what that means is everybody else pretty much has a red light and you feel very comfortable to just pull on out, and then you end up getting hit by somebody coming on the left. And so you got to make sure that they are doing a left turn on a green arrow. Now, if you can look up and see the light and actually see a green arrow, fantastic. But I could not see the light, so I assumed that, hey, maybe they're all just doing yielding left turns. Maybe it was 5 cars in a row that just did a yielding left turn, and sure enough it was. So I'm really glad I didn't pull out. I'm really glad I was skeptical. And of course, I'm not in a hurry. And that's a big part of driving. I'll talk about that on the third drive. When you are in a rush, you're going to make bad assumptions in driving. Okay? You're going to make poor assumptions, and you got to be very careful with that. So again, if I was in a super rush there, chances are I would have pulled on out and could have gotten into a very, very bad collision, and it would have been my fault. So my car's messed up, my body's messed up, and I'm at fault. I'm getting a ticket, my insurance is going up, all because I was in a rush and I made a poor assumption. So this is 5 Mile. We're going to be turning right here on 5 Mile. There's an abrupt edge on the right. So when you do this right turn on 5 Mile, and especially if it's on a green light, you're going to do it nice and slow. Now, if it's a right turn on red, we're still going to do it kind of slow. We're just going to make sure it's really clear. And as you can see, it's really not good there on the right. So I was in far left lane position, and that's a tough one. That's a tough right turn. That might be a little sloppy, but don't worry too much about it. Okay, so I'm on 5 Mile here, going north back into town. And let me pick it up a little bit. I think it's 35 through here. And I will a lot of times talk this much on your drives, and if it does start to affect your driving, I'll cut back on my talking. But if you're driving pretty good, I'm going to keep talking. Now, I'm not going to expect you to listen to everything I say. In fact, if I ask you a question and you don't want to answer it, that's perfectly fine, okay? But if you're doing pretty good, I'm going to keep talking, might even ask you some questions. And that's a part of driving, because you will be a driver and you'll have passengers that won't shut up. And you've got to learn to deal with it. You've got to learn to focus, okay? I'm your instructor, and I'm older than you, and yeah, it's nice to show respect and everything and be courteous and polite. Those are wonderful things, but it's even better to get to our destination safely. All that matters is point A to point B safely, and being polite and courteous, keeping up the conversation and answering questions is not the priority in any drive for the rest of your life. So it's perfectly okay to ignore me, to selectively hear the things I say. We're turning left here on Amity. Don't be afraid to go over these yellow lines a little early, a little smooth early braking. Again, the early braking will let your passengers know that you see what's coming up. A lot of benefits to it. Help with traction. Now I'm back further where I can see the line. This is going to start flashing yellow, and right about here is I'm going to tell you to do this left turn, and I'm going to tell you no rush, because it's kind of tough. Now in reality, when you do a yielding left turn, you kind of want to do it with a little bit of speed. I'll talk about it more on the third drive, but on this second drive, I'm going to clear it for you. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. And if I do tell you to go, and I tell you to go quickly, then you do it quickly. Again, I don't have a gas pedal, I have a brake. So if you do it too fast, I can hit the brake. If you lose control, I can grab the wheel, but I cannot give it gas. So if I tell you you're going to do a quick left turn, and I say do it right now, quick left turn, you better do it. Okay, it's important because I don't have a gas pedal. So I think we're on Amity here, going about 35-40. And I don't know if you can tell from the camera, but I am in right lane position, and that's because of the oncoming cars on the left. Okay, I'm scanning to the right. I'm not seeing a whole lot going on the right. I'm scanning to the left. I'm seeing oncoming cars. And of course, sometimes you might notice when there's no oncoming cars, I actually go a little more towards the center, towards the left. Here's a truck coming. Now, I'm not in fear and paranoia. I'm not living in fear and paranoia. I'm not super scared of the oncoming cars. But oncoming cars are a risk. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, you could say, well, what's the chance of an oncoming car swerving into my lane? I don't know. I don't want to think about it. All I know is that right now there is a 4,000-pound vehicle driven by a human being that could make poor decisions. And there's nothing going on my right, so I'm just going to stay a little more to my right. Now I'm turning right here on Cloverdale, early braking, early signal. And since I am turning right, I'm going to try to be in this left lane position as much as I can. I'm stopping where I can see the line. I'm not drifting over to the right. I'm staying right about here. Notice my path of travel is a big puddle. Pedestrian check, looks good. I'm going to inch out. My foot is gently resting on the brake. And I'm going to check again.